What's the expression? The gloves are off. Well, yes, the gloves are off. I've got an offer of some really good plants, and now I've got somewhere to plant them. And my back hurts, so I've stopped. But I've got virtually all I wanted to do done. The idea of this bush stopping the view to the alleyway was all well and good, but if I had nice plants with blooms on here, I wouldn't look down the alleyway anyway, would I? So I've taken the bottom section of that off. I don't want to lose the bush because it has nice blooms. This I've thinned out at ground level. So I've left the bush, but I've taken away what was covering up the soil. And the same with the other stuff really, is just a bit of a clear out. Cleared out this corner here, and having cleared it out, obviously a tree has died here, so there's a huge tree stump there. So I probably won't be able to plant anything in that circle. But yeah, bit of a clear out. Now you can see how well that fuchsia's coming back, because that died back down to the ground. And as I said, I will leave the nettles, but I want them confined to a small clump. There's quite a few of the garden butterflies actually lay their eggs on nettles, so we'll see how that goes. And the fuchsia will come up here, so that'll be good. Rose will be out soon, that has to stay, that's not mine. And now I'm going to go and get some of those bamboo skewers and mark where stuff's been planted, because as it dies back it'll get dug up as I'm planting other stuff. So things like bluebells in there and there, yeah, they need to be marked, and where the primroses are, and the hybrid primrose, or primula I suppose you'd call that, and I'll mark where the snowdrops are as well, and again bluebells. So anything that I've already planted that's not obvious, like some fritillaries went in there, well they've died back, but hopefully they'll come again next year. So yeah, so a lot more light into this area and a lot more planting area. So now I've got to go and make a list. Carol sent me some photos of all the possibles that she can send me, and I've got their names, so I can now look them up and see what sort of conditions they like. And anything that likes sort of moisture retentive, good soil I'll call it, because if you think all those leaves have been rotting down onto that bed for years, this is good soil, nice rich soil. So anything that's okay in that likes shade but bright light, or gets some sun part of the day, we can sort out what we can take. And some of the plants that are drought tolerant I'm going to risk in parts of the gravel beds. Carol suggested sending me loads of pots if I could get some compost so that the plants can be potted up pending getting planted out. I've got lots of pots, I've got compost, so I don't need any of that, just need the plants. So I'm getting ready for the next import. And then we'll get planting. If everything that Carol sends gets put in pots, Hannah's coming down the first weekend in June. That's her birthday weekend, effectively. Her birthday's not at the weekend, but it's the closest one. And she would love to help planting, but the only way that can happen is if I put stuff in pots first, because it can't stay bare rooted for anything longer than it takes to post it here. Any longer than that and the plants will go over because it's warmer now. So there we go, I've made a start. I've got somewhere to put some plants, and hopefully I've got rid of most of the ivy. I'll just have to keep on top of that because it comes through from next door. You can see it coming through the fence. So of course once it touches the ground it roots. So I wish it wasn't here, but to get rid of it is impossible basically. So I've got to live within its boundaries. So there we go. Now I've got all this lot to clear up and I can't do it today because my back is twinging already, and that involves bending over to pick it up, bending over, getting it bagged up to go with the other bags to go up the tip. So that will have to wait, and I don't care how long it has to wait. It can just sit there in a pile. I'll get the brush out and just have a quick sweep, and I can get the bird table back where it goes and clean the bird bath and get that with some nice clean water, get everything back where it goes for now. I say for now because things are going to change in this area. So anyway, I've made a start, and this part of the garden's I think is going to look pretty good, and it's the part that I can see from in the house. I look out of the kitchen window onto this part, and when I'm sat at the computer, and working with my orchids, this is the bit of the garden that I look at most of the time. So I'm determined that this is going to look good, and hopefully it'll have something in bloom from the earliest things, which will be the snowdrops and the hellebores, following through, hopefully right through until autumn. That fly had the whole world to fly around in. I don't know why it chose to go in my mouth. Oh well, it's all protein, I suppose. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.